Hey folks, Quilly here, and welcome to some more Let's Play Race for the Galaxy. Race for the Galaxy is a real game, real-life board game, well, card game, but, you know, in that kind of board gamey kind of genre, about settling the galaxy, I guess. It's got a digital version for, I don't know, PC and all those things, as well as, tablet-type stuff, and whatever. And it's a great game. The problem is, I keep getting obliterated by the AI, so clearly I'm doing something wrong, and I've been playing it for fun a lot. But I thought, okay, let me make another video so I can maybe discuss out loud my strategy and my thinking, and with the help of the comments, maybe I can improve myself a bit, because yeah, I keep getting obliterated by the AI. I'm gonna go ahead and start a new game here, and we'll jump right in. I'll if you haven't seen the previous video, I'll explain how the game works. There are a series of expansions here on PC. I've unlocked, I don't remember what NW is for. I don't know if I can, oh, New Worlds expansion, more starting worlds, yada, yada, yada. And I have Gathering Storm expansion over here, adds even more worlds, and introduces the concept of optional goals, which, again, you can turn this on or off, whether, even if you play with the expansion, you don't have to play with goals. I'm going to turn that on, because I've actually done pretty well with just like the base vanilla game. I've gotten a little bit better at winning that, but that's because in the vanilla game, there's really one much more outstanding strategy, I'd say, than all of the others. Mostly the sort of, like, produce times to consume kind of cycle. We'll talk about that when we get into the game. But with this, and especially with the goals, it gets, like, mixed up quite a lot. So you can play with the AI on different difficulties. In real life, the expansions add support for a 5th and even a 6th player. I think Rebels versus Empyrean add support for a 6th player in real life, but the digital version, I think, is limited to 4 just because of the user interface. There's a good tutorial as well, but let's go ahead in here. All right. So we're going to have to choose our starting planet over here, and your starting planet and your starting hand does impact your strategy a fair bit, although the starting hand is a little bit less impactful than you might imagine. Now, again, I'll explain the rules as we go, but one of the big things is the way you pay for anything in the game is by discarding cards from your hand. So really, in your starting hand, more or less, there's going to be 1, maybe 2 if they're cheap things that you can expect to play out of your starting hands, and the rest are probably going to be discarded to pay for those other things. So you really can't, at least, you know, the way I've interpreted things, you really can't plan around what your starting hand is. Look at 1, maybe 2 of the things, and then plan around that. So our starting options here for our home world is Industrial Robots. Kind of cool, lets you draw a card after placing in development, and also every time there's a phase 5, you also draw another card. Now, there are 5 phases in the game. There's this weird sort of like trade mini phase, but it's really part of phase 4 over here. 5 phases every turn. However, not every phase happens. Each player privately chooses which phase they want to have trigger, and only the selected phases actually happen on that particular turn. Still, I really like the fact that you're guaranteed a card draw on phase 5 with Industrial Robots, and I think it really benefits. Obviously, you're going to want phase 5 to happen a lot. Phase 5 is the produce phase, so you're probably going to want a lot of planets that produce goods, and you also have the ability to put goods on windfall planets, because when you pick the produce phase yourself, you get to put a good on a windfall planet. We'll talk about what that is later, but I think that sort of informs things, and obviously it does give you a bonus for the development as well. The other option I'm going to have to start with here is Epsilon Eridani over here. Gives me +1 military score. Military scores are used to conquer military planets. So for military planets, you don't buy them, you don't settle them by spending cards. Instead, you just need to have enough military score, and then you just put down the planet effectively for free. It also gives us a consume power, which lets us discard any 1 good to gain 1 victory point and 1 card. And this is actually a pretty good consume power over here. So I'm a little bit in the air here. Looking at my hand, we do have 2 military worlds. We've got the Star Nomad Lair, which is only a military score of 1, which means we could play this just by having Eridani down here. Gives us a better exploration power, so we can look at more cards, and gives us a bonus in the trade phase, which is draw an extra card when trading a good from this world. The blue goods are novelty goods. They're normally only worth 2 cards. This lets it be worth 3, which is actually not the worst. So could go Epsilon into that. It's actually, because it would be free, we could actually sit around and think, well, maybe we go with a military strategy. I'd need to pick up some more military points to be able to play the warrior race, but it's a definite possibility. All right, let's take a quick second and look at the goals over here. So because we're playing with the Gathering Storm expansion, there are 6 goals in place. I think 4 of them are first goals, and 2 of them are most. I might be wrong about that. So this is most production worlds. So this is not windfall worlds. This is going to be any world with a solid color. So at the end of the game, the person who's got the most of this gets 5 extra victory points. The person with the most developments that cost 4 or more gets 5 victory points. The first person in places 6 cost development gets 3 points. The first person who discards cards by exceeding their hand limit get 3 points. The first person to have 3 alien cards. This one often doesn't go claimed, actually, I find, because it's quite hard to get a lot of alien cards. It's only worth 3 points. And here's the first with 4 kinds of world. So both production and windfall count for this. You just need all 4. So that's pretty interesting. I don't know if that affects our starting picks at all. Well, damn. I love the trade power in Epsilon. You know what? I'm going to pick you. Now, I have to discard 2 cards. The Pan-Galactic League gives us VP per Gene World, VP per Military World, VP for Contact. I don't know if we can really count on that coming in. I mean, it's worth potentially a lot of points, although we don't have any Gene Worlds in our hand. We do have... and it gives you -1 to your military. I think that's a little contrary to what we're looking for. This Alien Robotics Factory is very nice. Can we afford to spend 6 cards on it? Can we afford not to? It's kind of an interesting question. The thing is, if you get an alien world, then you really want to get cards by doing the trade action early on, and that's not bad. But will we be able to afford it? I don't know. Expanding Colony is interesting because it lets you produce a good on a novelty world, even when you don't take the produce step. I'm actually thinking, I don't know, it's different kind of goods. This produces on its own. I don't want too many novelty good worlds. Tell you what, I'll trash New Vinland. That's going to be okay. All right, so now I have to choose which action I'm going to play. I have to pick one of the phases, and whatever phase I pick, I will get a bonus in it. For example, stage 1 is the Explore stage. You draw 2 cards. You discard one of those 2 and keep the other one. If I've got 2 options, if I want to make the Explore stage happen, I could pick this one over here, which lets me look at 5 extra cards. I'd still only keep 1, or this option over here, which would let me look at an extra card. So I'd look at 3, and I would keep an extra card as well, for a total of keeping 2. Cards, again, are basically your money for doing things, so this tends to be a good option if you just need a little bit of extra currency in your hand, and this is a good option if you're looking for something very specific. This is the development stage. If you pick it, then you can develop something 1 cheaper. I actually don't have any development stuff in my hand at all, so it's moot. This is the settlement phase, which lets you put down planets. If you play this, when you put down a planet, you get to draw a card afterwards. Both of these are actually for stage 4, but this one is sort of like a pre-stage 4, which lets you take 1 good off your planet and just trade it for cards. Depending on the color of the good, you will get, more cards. So it's 2 to 5 cards depending on the color of the good. No matter what in stage 4, you trigger consume powers, like the one over here, discarding a good to gain victory points and 1 card. If you pick this version here, you get twice as many victory points. And then finally, stage 5 is the production phase, which any solid colored planet will get a good on it. And if you pick the production phase, then your windfall planets will also get a good on that. Now, I'm hoping one of my opponents here chooses settle, because I would love to just be able to settle the Star Nomad lair for free. And in fact, what I'm kind of tempted to do is I could take a bit of a risk and I could try to go for the trade phase, because assuming someone goes for settle, then I can play the Star Nomad lair as part of their settle, and then I can trade in that good for 3 extra cards. But that's a bit of a gamble. So I'm actually thinking I might play it safe and just go for this explore action over here to draw some extra cards in hand and just develop a little bit of currency that way. We might be able to find something that helps us build up a little bit more military. The other thing I could do is I could go for the deeper explore over here and look for something that gets me more military points, but I think I'm just going to take this over here. And what do we get? Ooh, no one went settle. Well, then I'm quite pleased that I went here. So I can drag one card to the discard. We do have another one-cost military planet over here, which would be a rare goods windfall world, which kind of sort of works for us. We can keep the Imperium world over here for +1 military. The genetics lab, which lets us develop onto a gene world as part of our normal production phase. I'm going to go ahead and toss this. And I think I'm going to develop the genetics lab. And then I'm going to get rid of... if I get rid of genetics, or if I play genetics lab, I really want to keep the rebel warrior race. Plus, there's a 6-point card that I can really build around for this, which I haven't discarded, right? The 6-point card that I discarded, which one was it? Oh, crap. Was it the Gene World one? No, it wasn't. Alright, I'm going to toss that. And you know what? I'll toss the Alien Robotics Factory. It's really expensive. It'd be nice to set up. But I think we can get some sort of weird thing where we can get a bunch of windfall planets that count for stuff. So now I really want to settle. I'm going to be very, very, very annoyed, though. I think I have to do this because I can't guarantee that someone else is going to take the settlement option. But I mean, they must, right? And then I can just piggyback on that? Okay, I'm going to gamble here that someone else is going to pick the settle action because there wasn't one last turn. People have a lot of cards, they're probably going to want to settle. There we go. Settlement was played here. Wonderful. Actually, 2 people went settle, and 2 people went trade. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and settle the Star Nomad lair, which will windfall and get a blue good. And then I triggered a trade thing. Normally this would be worth 2 cards, but it's +1 because of this. So I will trade away that good and draw some more cards from it. Nice. New military tactics. Discard from the Empire to get +3 military until the end of the phase. Merchant Guild is just 2 points per production world, not windfall world, which isn't terribly helpful for me. We are going to want military tactics to be played, but I think I'm going to let my opponents play either develop or settle, and I'm just going to piggyback on that. So I'm either going to want to do another trade, assuming I can get a windfall planet down, but that's a little risky. I think I'm just going to go and do the Explorer over here. Star Nomad Lair will let me look at 4 cards and keep 2 of them. And indeed, we got, so there's going to be a production stage, there's going to be a consumption stage, and there's going to be a settlement stage over here. Mining Conglomerate is, if I produce more rare goods than any other player, I get to draw 2 cards, but I don't think I'm building that. I think this Rebel Base, I don't think we're going to go that heavily military, and it doesn't produce any goods. Interstellar Bank lets you draw a card every time there's a development stage. Public Works lets you draw a card every time you develop. It also gives you another consumption. Yeah, I'm just going to get rid of this. It's going to be fine. Okay. So, what I want to do is put down some sort of windfall planet. Either one of these is a windfall planet. They're both worth the same amount of victory points. Runaway Robots actually gives me a bonus ability here, which is draw 1 card if this world produced a good this phase. And it doesn't require me to discard cards like the asteroid belt. So we're going to do that. We're playing a lot of really cheap planets, not developing a lot of points. We got that. Now, I do have to pay attention a little bit to what my opponents do. That's one of the things when you play in real life, it's a lot easier to do that. So, you have no choice. If you can use a consume power, you have to. So, Epsilon Eridani needs to be used, and it requires me to consume a good over here. Will give me a victory point and a card, but that's not so bad. Now, the production phase triggered, but windfall planets don't produce normally. That's why I need to keep maybe developing things that let me produce on windfall planets, like this one over here. So I really want to get the Rebel Warrior race if I can, or I want to trigger my own development stage. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and trigger, Because if I trigger this, I can put something there. Rebel warrior race. I need more military. Okay, I think I need to force a development. So I can get new military tactics and then use that to pay for the rebel warrior race next time. So I will at least get the money back from that. And there's going to be a developed stage over here. So I'm going to settle the rebel warrior world. I'm going to pay for it by using up the new military tactics, which is effectively free. So that worked out fairly well. Annoyingly here, I have to use this consumption. I'd rather do something else with the green card, but that's okay. We'll trigger that. So I have 2 victory chits. They also have 2, so there's a bonus. Okay, we don't have the goal for bonus bonus victory chits. Okay, that's interesting to know. So I have 8 points effectively, and yeah, 2 of it comes from just banking some victory points. So now what? Well, Deserted Alien World is interesting because it does give you a huge bonus to placing more alien worlds, which is good, but we don't really have any set up right now. Research Labs lets you trade gene goods for a victory point, giving you another way to sort of spend things. The Merchant Guild isn't worth anything for me right now. Although I could maybe, see if I can... I could actually play it, because if I chose development, it gives me a discount of 1 to my development costs. I could put down Merchant Guild World just to be the first person with a 6 development thing, but it's... I'd have to discard everything else, and I don't think that's really worth it. I think what I want to do is... I want to do a production phase. And maybe piggyback on someone else's development or settlement. There's a settlement over there. And there's going to be a consumption phase over here. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put down the asteroid belt. And we discard the Merchant Guild. And that's if you produce a yellow, then you get to draw a card. Get rid of Interstellar Bank, because I don't think that's really what we're going for. Okay, many things are happening. Choose a consume power, so I will consume this card over here. Then, okay, so I get to produce on a windfall world because I chose the production phase. I want to make sure not... So I want to produce on runaway robots, because if I produce something on this card, I get to draw a card. So I want to do that, and my genetics lab will put a goods on a gene windfall world. So I've got a few more things going on here, which is good. Now, can I start doing, say, the consume for double points right now? I don't feel I can do that quite yet. Terraforming robots would possibly combo well with the runaway robots, because it gives me another good outlet for these goods here. I can get a lot of cards by selling this. Actually, if I can somehow generate a discard, I can claim the 3 points from here. Tell you what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to do the trade phase over here. Oh, we get to do an explore. Right, that's right, I get to look at the X1. Dropship's good for military. It also counts as a 4+ world. Diversified economy. I do actually have a diversified economy. You know what? And it's worth 4 points, possibly. So I'm going to hit OK over here. I actually do want to develop the diversified economy. I'm going to do that. I have a blue. Let me get rid of the deserted alien world. What do I want to keep, basically, is the question. I might want to keep the gene world for a little bit more production. And I might be able to compete for the most production world. Well, no, because I only have Woodfall worlds. Never mind. Okay, whatever. We'll do this anyway. Boom. Oh, someone just claimed the first something. Oh, the first 6-point thing. Boo. So I'm going to trade this for 5 cards. Then I do have to trigger consume power, so I'm going to do this one. And do that. So, what I think I want to do is I want to get into the production consume cycle now. And piggyback on other people's sort of developments and whatnot. Oh my god, these are worth huge points, both of these. Terraforming Guild is worth 10 points right now. It's 2 victory points per windfall world and 2 victory points for terraforming. Draw one after placing this world, after placing a world. The Galactic Service, that's also good. Now, if I play this, I'm going to have to discard 6 cards to play it, because I don't have any discounts to that. Which means I have to discard everything else, including the Galactic Survey. which is too bad because that'll probably worth a lot more points. But I don't see how we resist doing this. Although, I suppose I could play something else because there is the settlement phase, which would allow me to play the Reptilian Uplift race because I have +2 military. But I mean, it's 10-point move. Come on. So, well, we'll just have to discard everything. And that's the way it goes. So, looking at the points, I mean, you know, I'm banking some things. That's good. The game ends when there's 12 cards in someone's tableau, or we run out of victory tokens over here. So, choose a windfall planet to produce. I'm going to choose runaway robots. Do I do 2? Oh, because I have a thing. The Terraforming Guild produces more goods on another windfall world. Nice. So, I need diversified economy, so I don't want another yellow, I want a blue. So, because of diversified economy, I draw 1 card for each type of good I do. I get a bonus card for producing one of those. Awesome. Oh, and someone else just took the discard bonus thing. Well, that's annoying. So now the question is, do I want to get more cards in hand, or do I want to start doing the ×2 victory point option? I actually don't have that many things that let me gain victory points. I do have some. I feel like I want to do another big card draw. But that'll probably have to be my last one. We do get a planetary settlement phase, but I can't settle the pirate world because I didn't have enough military. Trade that, trigger this, eliminate that one. Okay. That's grayed out because I already have one. So I'm going to want to run production. I really have to trigger my own production because I want to get some extra stuff on my windfall worlds and maybe piggyback on something. Oh, we get a little bit of an exploration. Space Marines for bonus military might not be terrible, especially if I want to keep putting down windfall worlds for the terraforming. Like, that's a windfall world. The alien one is fine. On the other hand, Earth Lost Colony lets me actually trade more goods for points, which I might need to worry about right now. I kind of feel like, yeah, I need to make sure I've got enough things to cash in points. There's going to be a consumption phase over here, so I will consume that. And I will produce here for the card draw, and here for the economic diversity. And I'll have to discard here because I got way too much shit. 6 cards discard. Wow, that is crazy. I could get another new military tactics, which might not be the worst, actually, to finish off something else. I already have duplicates of those, so we don't need more. Galactic Renaissance is per victory chips, research labs, galactic trendsetters, artist colony. I don't see this as something that's really going to be scored for us. It'd be great if we get this Lost Alien Battlefield. I think it's a little late for the mining robots to give us notable discounts. That's a good expense thing. I can get rid of the spaceport. Okay. So, how close are we to ending? Not quite yet. I would love to settle more of these, but... Now, someone's probably going to do consume already, which is good, but I might want to do a double consume. But do I really have the chance to double consume properly yet? Maybe not. And if someone's going to be doing consume, I can probably afford to play more Windfall Worlds, and Windfall Worlds give me points. So, oh, someone else had gone colonized, but you see double points here. This guy's going to just probably run away with the game. I have to discard 2 cards that I've just drawn. Can I get the alien bonus? No, not really. Let's see. This is free, and it's got a good consume power, which is kind of what I'm looking for right now. So I can start doing some double consumes. I have a lot of cards in hand. I'm actually just may want to just get the 3 points from here instead of 2 points and a card from these guys. There. Okay, turn. The game's probably going to end next turn. Oh, Galactic Survey is back! And worth a lot of points. Alright, I'm going to make sure, this is probably the last turn, I don't have goods to trade, so I'm going to just have to bank points with the development. Galactic Federation's worth a fair amount of points as well. So, we'll do this one. And I'll just dump some of these cheap ones. I don't have enough military for you. I won't have enough for you. Research labs, I don't think, help me. Okay. I won't be able to play the Galactic Federation next turn. So here's the victory points coming in. Oh, we're not actually out of chits. We get an extra turn. I can't settle this. I think, like... I gotta gamble with a production. If it goes for another turn, which I don't expect, then at least I'll be able to do a ×2 spend. Oh, we actually, yeah, no one's finished their tableau. They're close, and there's some chits left. So we are going to produce on you, and we're going to draw a bunch of cards. And, I mean, look at this, 59 points. We've lost anyway, but I'll go for the the ×2 spend. Even when this is empty, you can still bank more points, so it's okay. I'm going to discard you. We are going to get development phase. So, I mean, the game's definitely over this turn, so I'm just going to discard some, like, oh, wait, hold on. Oh, it's out of the draw here. Yeah. Discard planets, since we're not going to see any of that. There's going to do development, though, which is good, because I can score 8 points with the Galactic Federation, which does discount further development. Like, you know, it's a nice one if you actually do develop it early, but... There you go. So, I'm going to have a ×2 consume. Which I think we're just going to do this, because that'll earn me 6 points. So we're out of points over here. 54 points. I mean, I did pretty well compared to these two guys. Oh, we get another windfall thing, which might matter. If someone had things for bonus points. But that's it. VP pool exhausted. I don't know, man. Again, one of the nice things is in real life you can really watch what the other people are doing, and I think because I play a little too fast and clicking on the little AI screen is kind of annoying. 54 points is a really, really good outcome. But I never win. Yeah, if you got any advice for Race for the Galaxy, certainly let me know. Thanks for watching. See you next time.